Gender-based violence, or GBV, is a pervasive issue encompassing various forms. In 2022 alone, the Royal Grenada Police Force recorded a total of 335 reports, including rape, indecent assault, sexual intercourse with minors under 13 and 16 years old, and cases of incest. The Standard Operating Procedures, which was launched in December 2022, serves as a comprehensive guide to create synergy between the police, health, judicial, and social services sectors, outlining the individual and collaborative roles in addressing gender-based violence. Stakeholders in the parish of St. Patrick were brought up to speed on the standard operating procedures for gender-based violence during a session at the Belmont Estate on Wednesday. Training facilitator and consultant Mrs. Jacqueline Seeley-Burke said access to services has been identified as a major challenge in rural communities.
We did a session, for example, in Carriacou, and Carriacou is really fighting to ensure that there is, some semblance of equality in how victims and survivors will access all of these essential services. And it really comes down to resources, yes? In that, as you move into St. George, where there's, density of population and where the hub of activity is happening, that's where government is located. There's just physical proximity to the infrastructure, that you're finding that getting services might be a little easier, still not where it should be, but a little easier in the urban areas, in the towns, as opposed to as soon as you start moving further and further away from that central location.
Wednesday's session saw participation from well-known religious leader in St. Patrick, Pastor Dave King, who has encountered domestic violence issues during his interaction with people in the parish. Pastor King, who is associated with the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies, highlighted the importance of the training.
And I believe when you talk about domestic violence, I think it affects all of us at some point. And so, not only knowing that there is domestic violence, I also believe it is also important for us to be able to respond appropriately to what is called domestic violence. And I don't think that any one of us by ourselves can safely say that we have all that it takes to be able to do that. And so we are very grateful to have persons who are experts in the field to communicate and to share with us.
Meanwhile, head of the Gender-Based Violence Unit within the Ministry of Social Development, Nicole Neva-Pitt, said the expected outcome of the training is to have a better cohort of personnel to select from for a coordinated system to address the issue of gender-based violence.
And the thrust is to set up a subnational committee comprising of response teams within all of the parishes. So these multi-sectoral teams within the parishes, which comprise of representatives from the health, social, police, justice, and civil society, are to be tasked with addressing the issue of gender-based violence within the parish. And they are expected to form what we are calling the subnational committee. There will be a national coordinating mechanism. More information will be following on that.
Training continued with service providers in St. Andrew on Thursday. The final session is carded for September 19th with service providers in St. David. EN News, I'm Nisha Paul.